All right, let's go on a bit of a weird ride today. We're going to start with a topic that's pretty much a modern punchline, and somehow we're going to end up questioning the very foundation of today's biggest tech gold rush. So let's just dive right in.
I know. That question sounds absolutely absurd. But the source material we're breaking down today draws this fascinating and honestly pretty provocative line between these two things that seem worlds apart. Just stick with me here, because the connection might actually change how you see, well, a lot of things.
So, first things first, the whole flat Earth phenomenon. I mean, in an age where we have private companies launching satellites and you can track flights in real time, how is this even still a thing? It's the question everybody asks, right? And the answer is way more complicated than just saying, oh, they're wrong. The source we're looking at points to some really deep psychological and social stuff going on.
See, when you dig into it, it's not really about a simple lack of information. A lot of the time, it's a complete and total distrust of official sources. It's a commitment to what your own eyes tell you. I mean, the ground looks flat, right? It's about finding a tribe, a community online that makes you feel like you're in on a big secret. And yeah, sometimes it's a classic case of the Dunning-Kruger effect, where you do a little bit of research and suddenly feel like an expert. But honestly, this is just the surface level.
Okay, so we've got the basics down for why someone might believe this stuff. It's really easy to stop there, have a laugh, and move on. But that is where our source material just completely flips the script. Instead of just asking why they believe something's so wrong, the source wants us to turn that camera right back on ourselves. It wants us to look at the reaction of all the people who know they're right.
And this is the real pivot point. Why does the topic of flat Earth make so many people so viscerally angry and arrogant? What is really going on there when people start mocking them?
Well, the argument here is that all that mockery is just a big defense mechanism. We're defending our identity as smart, rational people. And let's be honest, it's the cheapest, easiest way to feel intellectually superior. For a lot of folks, scientific facts aren't things to be understood. They're sacred truths to be defended, like a dogma. So when someone questions them, the reaction isn't to debate, it's to attack. It's pure intellectual tribalism.
And this brings us to the absolute core argument of this whole explainer. It's a pretty radical idea that pits objective truth against practical utility. It asks, what makes a belief useful, even if it isn't technically true?
So the source suggests that we stop judging the flat Earth model on its cosmic accuracy and start looking at how efficient it is for a person's actual, lived, day-to-day reality. It's a huge shift in how we measure the value of a belief. This table really lays it all out. Look at the global Earth model. The cognitive load is high, right? You need abstract science. You need to trust institutions you've never met. But its practical use for your daily commute? Pretty much zero. Now look at the good enough model. The cognitive load is super low. It's just based on what you see and feel. It's totally sufficient for getting around town. And the psychological cost is low because what you believe matches what you see. For 99% of daily life, it's a simple, optimized tool.
So to really drive this point home, the source gives us this frankly savage analogy to describe the arrogance of people who are correct. It's called the Dragon Slayer's dilemma.
Think of it like this. Imagine someone spends decades of their life in a mountain of gold learning the divine art of slaying dragons. They master every single technique. They are, without a doubt, the world's foremost expert on dragon slaying.
And this is the punchline. After all that work, they emerge into the world and discover a crushing reality. There are no dragons. All that effort, all that cost was for nothing. So what do? To justify their huge investment, they start mocking the simple farmers who only learned practical skills, like how to plant crops. Their arrogance isn't a sign of superiority. It's a psychological shield against the awful realization that their complex knowledge is, for all practical purposes, useless.
So what on earth does this have to do with today? Well, the source argues we are living in the golden age of dragon slaying. And the biggest, most expensive, most hyped-up dragon-slaying school of all is the quest for artificial general intelligence.
The source puts the question to us directly. Are we pouring trillions of dollars and the world's brightest minds into learning how to slay this mythical AI dragon, while the real-world problems of everyday people are being solved by simpler, good-enough tools that we tend to ignore or even mock?
Let's just put our two characters side by side again. You have the Dragon Slayer, who treats knowledge as a status symbol, and you have the simple farmer, who just needs functional tools that work. For one, knowledge is an ornament. For the other, it's a shovel.
And now, let's map that to right now.
You've got the AGI visionary chasing this godlike, all-powerful intelligence, the ultimate dragon-slaying sword. But then you have the everyday user who just needs a little help writing an email. That's a problem for a simple knife. The visionary sells a solution for a far-off future, while the user has real problems today. Complexity becomes the goal in and of itself.
So here's the bottom line, the crucial point. The AGI hype machine is trying to sell all of us this incredibly complex dragon-slaying sword. But what if, for most people and most problems, that's like using a nuclear-powered battle axe to slice a tomato? It's an unbelievably expensive, over-engineered solution for a world that mostly runs on simple, practical, good-enough fixes.
And that's the final provocative thought we're left with. In our relentless race for more complexity and absolute correctness, whether it's about the shape of the planet or the future of AI, have we lost respect for the simple, the practical, and the profound wisdom of what is just good enough? That's definitely something to think about.